Okay, so a little different. I just woke up, so I don't feel like fixing my hair. I don't feel like doing any of that. But I've been working on my song since yesterday, and I want to try to explain what takes me so long with making music. Because if it was just me laying down melodies, it wouldn't take that long. Or like, sometimes I might add like, maybe I added this first, and then I added that next. And then maybe a day later I added that. And maybe 3 days later I added that. And maybe a month later I added that. And so forth and so on. Then as you go through the beat, like you can, like all the things that I added and all the things that I did. And the structure of the song, right, obviously comes from me. So like, when I make a song, I have no idea how it's going to be structured. Whether there's going to be an intro, or whether how long the intro is going to be, whether it goes into the verse or the chorus, whether there is even going to be a chorus or something that's like a chorus, because most of my music is instrumental. So a lot of times it's not necessarily there's a chorus, there's a part that like is like a chorus where like it repeats itself through the song. So what takes me so long, really what's been taking me the longest is making, trying to make all the songs warmer. So when I first released Psychedelics and Computers, the album, I listened to the songs and I noticed that every song, like, needed to be warmer. Like, the instruments needed to be warmer. What do I mean by warmer? What I mean is, sometimes when you're removing frequencies, okay? I don't know if you guys can see that. But sometimes when you're removing frequencies, you remove a little bit of low end, you remove some of the high end, I lowered some of the middle on this one. But if I remove too many frequencies, like if I do that, and then remove the frequencies over here, because there's another frequency thing right here. If you remove too many frequencies of the bass, you can like strip the bass completely, which then it makes it sound like it's missing something. I don't know how to explain it. But it'd be like if you stripped the bass from my own voice, it would sound like it's missing something. So adding the bass back in, or adding the warmth back in without turning up the bass. So like yesterday, there's two main compressors in FL Studio stock. The Fruity compressor and what's the other one? And the multi-band, and the Fruity multi-band compressor. The multi-band compressor has more warmth to it, while the normal Fruity compressor, it almost strips some of the warmth from it. Which sometimes I want that in an instrument. Sometimes I want the warmth to be stripped because maybe there's 4 other instruments that have warmth in it, so the warmth needs to be stripped from the one instrument so the other instruments can, you know, like fill in that warmthness. And sometimes I like to remove the warmth because it adds not a grunge to it, but it adds something to it. Because sometimes I'll be not with this song, but with my song I Trust. When I finished my song I Trust, it's like everything was so smooth that I intentionally added some distortion to the instruments. That I intentionally, there's this one part where there's like literally distorted like, but it's distorted as fuck. So it sounds almost like static playing through the song at certain parts. I wanted it that way because I felt like the instruments were too smooth. So I'm like, well, let me add some static in that shit. Let me add a little distortion. So like, really what takes me the longest with music is it's like Beethoven didn't rush through his art. Leonardo da Vinci didn't rush. Like, how long did it take Leonardo da Vinci to make the Mona Lisa? How long did it take these people to make their paintings? And it's just paint on a canvas. This is also paint on a canvas. It's just digital and it's sound instead of visual. So like, when I make a song, I'm painting a picture. I'm creating, it's like what I call these songs they're like song rooms. Like a room made of sound. Where like the walls themselves are like made of sound itself. Because it's not like I make music for like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, it's not like Beethoven was making music because he wanted his song on the radio. Like, that's one of the biggest issues I see in the modern world is that people want to become musicians so they can get famous. People want to become musicians so they can get Spotify views. People want to become musicians so they can make money from their music, not because it's what their soul has to do. Like, Beethoven did what his soul had to do. Leonardo da Vinci did what his soul had to do. Like, some of these people are literally just expressing their soul into their art. That's what art really is. An expression of feelings, an expression of a moment, an expression of a thought. It's an expression of the self. So, what I'm doing with my songs is making an expression of myself. But in my head, I can hear like what I want it to sound like, what I want it to be like, what I want, whatever. So then when I heard this song back, okay, this is my song Sight Comp. Yesterday, I worked on this song. Now, so many people be like, well, that's just one sound. That one sound took a long time to develop, even though it was literally just one note. But because it's an arpeggiated sound, and I added effects, I EQ'd, I did this, I did that, I tweaked the compression, like all these different things. And yesterday I finally was able to add the warmth back in. Because the issue I had with this sound is I wanted it, it's like the main sound, but it's like it was lacking the warmth. But every time I tried adding warmth back in, it would interfere with the bass. Like, because I want the bass to have the bass section. I want this to have that, like, but, so I would try to, like, remove the low frequencies, but then I would remove them, and it'd be too much removed, and then it just didn't sound right. So then yesterday, I had to, like, I mean, literally, like, a small little bit of the bass section. Like, I had to turn up just a small little bit, and then add a certain compression, tweak it a little bit, and then, boom, I was able to make it sound more like how I wanted it to sound. I did the same thing with the hi-hats yesterday. As I went through the hi-hats, a lot of my hi-hats have, like, maybe, like, honestly, like, 2 compressions on it. One is to compress it, and another one is to warm it back up. Even though I could just use, because there's this, where the fuck is it? If I use the multi-band compressor, I'm going to have to undo this, but... So this is the multi-band compressor. I know you guys can't really see it, but like the multi-band compressor, if you go over a few, there's a setting that's warmer. It's called warmer. I use that setting as well as a few other things on my hi-hats, and I use the warmer, but I don't have it turned up all the way. I turn it down a little bit, so like it just adds this warmth back into the hi-hats, which then make them sound like real hi-hats. Like, because a real hi-hat, if you're dinging a real hi-hat, it has this warmth to it that just most digital hi-hats don't have. But if you can feel the warmth, if you can use your ears, you can add the warmth back in, slowly. And this is what takes me so long with these songs, is because I literally had to go through every sound in this thing. There's 49 sounds, 49 patterns in this beat. And I had to go through almost every fucking sound individually to add the warmth back in individually. Which, this is kind of what I've been avoiding. Why it's taking me longer to release the album. Because I had to do this with almost every song. Like, I couldn't just fix one part of the song because then the rest of it's not how I want it to be or whatever. Like, it's one of these things where I'm not chasing perfection. I'm just trying to create my imagination. Like, I'm just trying to make sure that it's the way that I imagined. Like, what was taking Beethoven so long? Like, all he had was a piano. So it shouldn't take that long to make a dun 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 dun. Like, it shouldn't take that long. What took him long is that he was making this music from his soul. Like, it's not like he was thinking, what's popular today? What song, like, what notes would get me more noticed? Or, like, no, he was just making his art. He was just living. And whether it's Beethoven, whether it's the fuck was his name, the dude that Shakespeare, right? Like these people, it's not like Romeo and Juliet. Who knows how long that took? Who knows how long all of these things took? But they didn't rush through it. It was their life. Like, that's one of the biggest things I see with music makers today, or artists today, that it's not their life. Like, they're just doing it because they think it's going to get them popular, or they're just doing it because it's cool, or they're just doing it because they want to be seen and they want to be heard, or they're just doing it for all the reasons that are not because it's what they want to do in their soul. Like, whatever. Like, I enjoy making music so much that I can't explain it. So, like, I enjoy sitting here working on this music days after days after days after months after months after... Like, it's the funnest thing I've ever done. Sitting down making music is literally the most fun I have. Because I'm able to imagine something and create it. Put it out, whatever the fuck. If I have a melody, I'm able to just the melody in. I'm able to... like, tweak the sound, I'm able to make them warmer, add bass, remove frequencies, do all this other shit, add dimension to the song, left and right, and all this. Like, I'm able to do so much that it's, like, it's so fun to me. So, like, the funnest part for me with making music is making the music. The most unfun part is when the song gets done. When the song gets done, it's like, goddamn. Well, next song, gotta get to the next one. Because... it's like, okay, the song's done. Now what? Well, I have more ideas. Let's get these ideas out. And it's like I have a constant thing where I always want to make music. I've been trying to balance my life out because I really want to just... like, the main reason why I want to get my business back up and get all these things going is so I can focus more on the music without thinking about anything else. I just want to make my music and just live my life. And I want to finish my albums. Like, I do enjoy finishing the albums because I do want to get these albums out. But... I just want to get these albums out so I can get to making more new music. I was telling my daughter the other day, like, I'm kind of getting annoyed with, like, having to work on these songs, so that's why I'm trying to get this Psychedelics and Computer album done and out the way, because I just want to make new songs. I have new ideas that I can't even start because I don't dare start something until all of this shit is finished. Like, so, yeah, that's been a video about music, and, the reason it takes me long is the same reason why it took Beethoven long. It's the same reason why it took Da Vinci long. It's the same reason why every great artist took their time with their masterpieces. I'm not making songs. I'm making masterpieces.